Wanna leave my old life behind.
All right, welcome to the latest edition of Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. I'm Bill Bryant. Tim Wood is on assignment. Big week in Methuen sports and in Methuen's present and future, and we'll be talking about that throughout the show. So we have a special guest host tonight.
Do you know the origin of that phrase, on assignment?
No.
Yeah, it's the big newscaster, Walter Cronkite, had a contract, and he had a boat named On Assignment. A boat named Assignment, and whenever he was out, they would say he was on assignment.
That is great.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
So Tim is not on a boat. He's at City Hall, and he is listening to the City Council, and like I said, we'll be talking about that. We do have a special guest host tonight. The wonderful, vivacious Pam Bryant is here, and
good evening.
Good evening. So Pam, we'll definitely talk a little bit more as we go. But before we jump into the show, we want to talk about...
How did that happen?
How did what happen?
Double redhead. How did that happen?
I don't know.
When we met a long time ago, neither one of us had red hair, so we kind of adopted it when Connor came out with red hair. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about JG's Ice Cream and Fun Center. They're celebrating 35 years with a big bang. Buy one, get one free. Batting cages, bumper cars, mini golf, and go-karts. Get a fun pass for just $21. Includes one of each, plus an ice cream or a slush. And I think you told me no slush for me.
No slush for you.
All right. JG's is #1 for family fun, birthday parties, and group outings. Check out the Loop Weekly for these coupons on May 8th. Visit them at 602 Lowell Street in Methuen, and visit their ice cream stand at 327 South Broadway and Salem 2. JG's has been our sponsor for the Stars of the Week. And Tim and I have been battling, and I laid down a little side bet about Al Delano getting on the show. That's your role right there.
That's my job.
Or us getting the JG's cards.
If you had 2 minutes and 25 seconds in the pool,
right?
Cashing your ticket.
Unreal. But we have the JG's gift cards tonight. Yeah. So our guest tonight will be getting their JG's cards,
all
and
right.
Our other 2 softball players are on the show. We have a couple of cards for them, so we'll talk about that as we go. But we definitely want to jump into what's going on in Methuen. And as I said, Tim is not on the boat, but he is on assignment at City Hall. Just listening in to what's going on with the City Council and just the important budget decisions that are happening. I do have my shirt on tonight that I support Methuen schools. Do the right thing, though. I think there is people trying to do the right thing. And that's been my big push all week is let the City Council actually vote.
Do their jobs.
And do their jobs before we start to criticize and start to kind of tear people apart here. I think the fact that, Lou, they're taking this time to go through line by line and really doing that, I have to give them that opportunity. You know, a lot of people are comparing this council vote to the old stadium project. And the difference is there was councilors who were not meeting with residents. They weren't allowing people to speak, and they were not talking about it at all. It was just a no vote, and that's it. And that's where it got a little bit more personal, and we brought the crowds and all that. Right now, we got to give them a chance to make a decision and start to speak out in the meetings and ask the questions. And the fact that they are, and they're opening the budget is huge.
Yep. No, it's huge. Steve Saba was in earlier, and he's going through line by line, and that's what you need to do here. And you need to know somebody's on the case. And how about the turnout for the budget meeting last week?
That was
a small space, right? But they had a big turnout
by 5:15, and that's the other big debate now. People want to talk about the venue and all that stuff. Yeah. Let's let them do their jobs first. You know, having gone to previous meetings and things like that, I've been to meetings where there was nobody there. You know, I'm on the charter committee, and we've had 2 people show up. You know, for all of the public's, the public opportunity to speak. So it's very hard to say change a venue when there's so many things that go into this. But showing support, being there, forming groups, and sharing your opinion is key. But we can't put blame yet when people haven't even had a chance to do their thing.
The council needs to understand some public oversight is necessary here. Everyone's got a right to make sure that they're in touch somewhat with these votes in this action.
100% agree with you. And that's when I got up to speak the first time, it was, we're watching. Yeah. And the eyes are on you, and the decisions you make moving forward are going to stay with you, and they should. Yep. And I think that's the thing that has happened before. The council members have made decisions in certain offices behind the scenes, and it wasn't really being watched. Where now I'm hoping that this continuation of watching and listening and hearing is going to continue to go. But onto other things. Our guest tonight for Methuen softball, assistant coach Jackie Rubino, junior Naya Mazzone, and freshman Stephanie Tadugno are here, and they'll be joining us after our break, after an exciting 4-1 win last night at Burnham Field over Peabody. You were at the game last night. What do you?
Yeah,
any
it was
insight?
exciting. Like great crowd, which was awesome because. Methuen tends to get a good crowd, but it was awesome to see all the people there supporting our Rangers. It was great.
They traveled well. Drew a good crowd from Methuen?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
And they were actually at the, we're going to get into the awards night that went on last night as well. So it was a busy last night for the Ranger Nation. There was the awards night that was moved from 6 to 5. We're going to go over all of the awards for each of the spring teams and then the senior awards. But that happened 5 to, I think, 7 o'clock. We had the city council meeting going on, as well as a state tournament softball game. So when we finally pulled up to the softball game, we parked like on some sort of a hill next to a Jeep, and it was pretty tight for parking.
And you listened to the city council on your phone while we watched the softball game. So we covered everything last night.
There might have been a little bit of a live stream.
Facebook Live,
live stream going on of the city council. Just wanted to stay in tuned and at
Very
one point,
important times, yeah.
At one point, one of my former Pup Honor kids might have yelled to the crowd after the second run was scored to be quiet because Coach Bill was on the phone. A little embarrassing, but Brad is a good little guy like that. So like I said, exciting game last night, but we'll wait for the softball players to come in and take a look at and talk about what happened last night. So getting into the Methuen Ranger Athletic Association spring season. So I'm just going to do some read here. Baseball, the John Berwick Memorial Batting Award, Brett Blackwell. Paul Arnold Memorial MVP went to Seth Pare, two guys that have been on the Ranger Nation
Great
show.
Kids.
The Walter Scanlon Trophy, Zach Drago, and the Steve Bajosian Trophy pitcher, Connor McKenzie. For real fine athletes. The softball awards went out. One of our guests tonight, most valuable player, Naya Mazzone, most improved player, Taylor Cassidy, and coaches award, Kelsey McGonigal. Taylor and Kelsey will be getting their JG's card. We're going to make sure that Naya gives them both cards to them and doesn't keep them for herself.
I wonder which one's more important to them.
Right.
The JG's card or the award.
Absolutely. Boys, spring track, the John Byrne Memorial MVP goes to a sophomore, Stanley Hansey. When Kevin Elliott was here, he did tell Tim and I, you're going to hear this young man's name and all of the events that he placed in and he's doing, he's just...
Nice young man also.
No, absolutely. He's like a second away from breaking the 400 meters at Methuen High School, and big things are in play for Stanley Hansey. Most valuable player, most valuable performer on the field was Isaac Frederic, Jr. as well. Most improved performer, Samuel Cook. And Coaches Award to Max Fortino, and the Whirlaway Dedication Award goes to Jacob St. Ange. All good athletes, Max and Isaac Stanley, all football players as well. Girls spring track, most valuable performer, track, Luana Machado, also a guest on the show. Most valuable performer for the field, Geraldine Gomez. And most improved performer, Abigail Cillian. I hope I didn't butcher that name. All right, Coaches Award, Mariah Fernandez, and the Whirlaway Dedication Award, Laura Abreu. The Unified Track and Field. We're going to talk about that when we wrap up the awards, but Eddie Wallace was here last week as the MIAA Coach of the Year for Unified Sports. Did another great job, and the whole team was up there last night. Most valuable performer was Eva Tasker. Most improved performer was Richard Tran, and the Coaches Award goes to Christopher Iakovela. Hopefully I did that name as well. Tim, I'm taking care of butchering some of the names for you. Boys volleyball, most valuable player, Hadi Mahed. Most improved player, Wesley Carrera. Coaches Award, Yaswal Gonzalez. And the Luke Hamill Memorial Award to Jacob Rogers. Jacob's a senior, graduating this year. All right, on to girls lacrosse. Most improved player, Katie Durandi. Most improved player, Hannah Reinhardt. And the Coaches Award will go to Hannah McKenna. Hannah, a senior, also on the show, is going to Westfield for swimming and lacrosse, which is pretty impressive. So far, Pam, we've done a lot of the sport teams. We're going to move on to boys lacrosse. Do you want to take a look at that one? And
I have to put my glasses on for that. Boys lacrosse, most valuable player.
What's going on? You tapping out on the names? What's going on?
Just this one. Yeah. I got a little secret here on this one.
Most valuable player, Danny O'Connell. Most improved player, Kyle Hadley. Kyle Hadley was also the recipient of the Methuen Youth Lacrosse Scholarship Fund, our first annual. And Coaches Award went to Michael Bowden.
All right, and there was another thing that happened with the lacrosse. Did you want to announce that?
That they announced their captains for next year, Alex Fitzgerald and Connor Bryant.
All right, congratulations.
So very proud.
Pretty cool.
Very proud.
Alex is going to be a senior next year. He was a young man who was through Methuen Youth Lacrosse when we started it, with other great people. But Alex is a young man who is just in the band, plays football, excellent student, comes from a great family, and couldn't happen to another nicer kid.
He's a National Honor Society. He's great family. All three boys are great kids.
And then there's Connor. Yeah. Connor Bryant, our son, who's a good kid, works hard.
So what's the tuition at Johns Hopkins? Have you guys looked into that yet?
We'll take the junior year first. But Connor's going to be a junior next year, so pretty neat to be a captain in going into his junior year. So we're real proud of him, and definitely a nice moment for us. All right, on to Crew, this was their inaugural year as a sport program within Methuen High School. They've been a program that has supported the high school, but this year they're officially under Matt Curran in Methuen High School. Most valuable player, Emily Reeves. Most valuable player, Julia Carter, a senior, going on to with a scholarship to do college lacrosse. Most improved player, Ryan Croto. Most improved player, Kylie Beener. And Coaches Award is Victoria Tadugno. And the neat thing about the other awards is all those other kids are 8th graders. Kylie's going to be a freshman next year. Yeah. Ryan is going to be a freshman next year. So very young program, good numbers, and they had some real strong success. They got 4 girls right now between Hannah Ferretra, who already graduated last year, and then 2 more girls this year that are college scholarships, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I was going to say to parents, there are college scholarships there too in Crew.
Absolutely,
they're there to be had.
Absolutely. Yeah. Our one of our guests is girl never played youth sports, picked up the Crew, and now she's getting a college scholarship to Merrimack, which is quite impressive.
Good for her.
Boys and girls tennis will be next. Both of them qualified to the state tournament. Had early round knockoffs. Once you get to the state tournament, you're playing top teams from around the state, which is pretty impressive. Boys tennis, most valuable player was Chris Crownenshield. Most improved player was Inyura Chibagu. And even the coach butchered his name, which just, he sees him every single day and has to talk to him. So
how do you have it down?
I probably didn't do the last name very well. Coach's Award goes to Nick Appel. And then for girls, most valuable player, Caitlin Wojciechowicz. Most improved, Alexa Gayton. And Coach's Award went to Abby Poulin and Emily Rowe. So just a great spring season. A lot of success, a lot of youth coming into these teams, and we're pretty excited for them to continue to represent Ranger Nation. So I don't know if you want to talk about the other part of the show, which involved you and I. Why don't you kind of talk about that?
Probably very close to being the first best moment of the evening, but obviously, I have to stick to Connor being named captain as my favorite moment. Yep. But very close second, though. Bill and I, back in April, were awarded a Biggest Heart Award from the Merrimack Federal Credit Union, and it was a $500 donation. We got to donate it to whoever we wanted, and we donated it to the unified sports teams at the high school. So we got to present the big check. The
NASCAR
big check. Yeah. It was a big check. Yep. We got to present it to the team, and as well we bought them, the boosters. We bought them some headbands. They all wanted, one of the boys that was the other day we got our award mentioned that one of the other teams that showed up to compete against them all had matching headbands and that he thought that they needed them.
Yep.
So
Aerodynamic.
Bill and I running the boosters decided that was going to be our donation to them. And
Very nice.
they were very happy. It was great to see their smiling faces. It always warms my heart when, everyone gets equal playing time and equal opportunity. So it was, and like Bill said last week on the show, I am a huge fan of Ed Wallace at his young age, accomplishing what he has done so far. And I worked shortly with him last year at the Marsh School. He came and was a building sub, and I think got a little taste of working with this particular group of kids and has taken it and gone with it. And I'm so proud of him and love all that he's doing for that program.
It's a great program. It really is.
It makes sense. And as Eddie and I were walking off the show, I didn't want to ask him on air and put him on the spot, but he did mention to me that he's going to be changing careers and going for his moderate special ed master's degree and looking to be a teacher. And as a special ed administrator, you want to see good young candidates that have the energy, and he's a phenomenal coach. He's a great citizen, and is going to be giving back. Freshman football coach going into next year as an assistant coach, but definitely someone that's going to be able to continue to involve and include special education students. And I got to give it to the kids in the audience. The thing that drew Pam and I to the unified basketball team was at the banquet, or at the winter sports night, and just all of the athletes in the crowd. There was just a genuine welcome to the unified basketball team, and it kind of came out of nowhere as far as the beginning of it. And then you heard Eddie talk about 8 kids to now 17, 18 kids, and just 2 short seasons. But even last night when they were announced, it was an appropriate. It just belonged.
Yep.
It wasn't over the top. It was inclusion at its best.
Sincere.
Yeah.
And as I spoke to the audience, as Pam and I were up there, the last thing I want to be is on stage in front of a bunch of high school kids that's their moment. But I just said this team, this unified program, is part of Ranger Nation now, and we need to make sure that the funding is there and the support's there, and they wanted their flair. These guys, all the different teams raise money and do extra hats and shirts and uniforms and things like that, and we want to kind of support the unified team and get them some flair, and help them down the road when they start to see the flag drop.
Yep.
When we start to see them go. So
my ex is a SPED teacher, and that's a calling. Being a SPED career is a calling, and Ed has it. Ed should be in SPED, yeah.
To see someone at 23 that comfortable and that confident in themselves is quite impressive.
Yep.
And, I was checking with him, how stable are you at the high school? Because I am hiring for some high school teachers, and he told me, Methuen High is where he wants to be, and I have to respect that. And, Gina will, and Kevin, the SPED administrators, would kill me if they found out I was asking them.
You're
but
trying to poach their...
I'm always looking.
Not a poach, baby.
So, absolutely. So we're just going to finish up the awards, Lou, and then we'll jump into break and get the softball folks in here. The special awards last night, Methuen High School Scholar Athlete Awards, went to Julia McCoy and Seth Perret. Julia was from the volleyball team, and Seth, we had on the show as quite a interesting, well-rounded young man. The Larry Klimas Scholarship Award, Saul Cespedes, who did his famous backflip on stage last night,
did.
which Saul is an incredible young man. The John Hannigan Award also went to Saul Cespedes. The Dorothy Chadwick Award went to Laura Stogler. The Outstanding Male and Female Athletes went to Travis Manick and Luana Machado. It's kind of neat for Travis last night. He showed up late. He was at an event or doing something.
He was at orientation for his
that's
college.
Right, orientation for school.
Was he? Wow.
So just
big day for him.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it till the break. Travis walked in just as they were finishing up talking about him not being there, and they redid it, and the kids gave him another great ovation, and
nice.
it was great to see Travis get his due, because he's Wrestler of the Year, and a lot of great awards for him. The Mayor's Award went to what they called last night was Dr. Anthony A.J. Borelli. So we found out our neighbor is going to medical school to be a doctor, which is pretty impressive.
Good for him.
And then Haley
And
Hamilton.
they introduced him as a doctor?
I think just as a,
that's
but
funny.
it was something that was news to us, and we live 2 houses down from them. And then the Athletic Directors Award went to a couple of kids that we're familiar with, or young teenagers that we're familiar with. Brett Blackwell, who was one of our first guests, and then Hannah McKenna. You've heard her name multiple times. Yep. Just 2 outstanding athletes. So later on the show, we'll talk about the Stars of the Week that are presented by JG's and our other sponsors. But it's a tough group to pull from, because this list right here is just an incredible group of young ladies and women, and we're pretty happy with them. So we'll take a break, and we'll come back with our softball group.
We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body.
All right, a big shout out to the folks over at AFC Urgent Care. They've been big supporters of us since the beginning as the title sponsor of Ranger Nation Radio, and we are big fans of theirs. AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. You'll never need an appointment. Got that persistent cough and cold, that cut that needs a few stitches, or need a sports physical and don't want to wait weeks to get into your primary doctor? AFC's streamlined approach helps you be seen quickly and feel better fast. In Methuen, in the Merrimack Street Medical Professionals Building, 380R Merrimack Street. In North Andover as well, in the Burton Grill Plaza. 8 to 8 Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Go to afcurgentcare.com for more details. All right, up next, yes, our friends, the law offices of Arthur Broadhurst. You need an experienced litigator? Arthur Broadhurst has more than 27 years of practicing law and will fight for you. He's licensed in Massachusetts and New Hampshire and specializes in criminal and accident cases, mortgage loan closings, and town zoning and permitting for land use and licensing. Arthur's represented us in the State House as a former state representative. Now, let him represent you. Call the law offices of Arthur J. Broadhurst at 978-327-5128 or go online to merrimackvalleylaw.com.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up.
All right, welcome back to Ranger Nation Radio for the second half, always presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. Before we get into our great guests here, I do want to talk about Methuen Family Health Center. Family is everything. That's why it's right in the name at Methuen Family Pharmacy, where you can get pharmacy services by the Methuen community for the Methuen community. You don't have to be a patient of Methuen Family Health Center to use the pharmacy. Either drop by the 147 Pelham Street in Methuen, right off exit 47 on Route 93, near the junction of 213, and get your medication from the friendly faces you already see in your neighborhood. Learn more at glfhc.org/pharmacy. Also, whether it's a leaky faucet or a 10-story building, Canaan and Procone Plumbing and Heating have you covered. Every time I practice this, the wife over there started laughing. Billy Canaan and Tom Procone and their crew can handle any job. With summer coming, get your AC tuned up, kitchen and bathroom remodeling, water heaters and boilers, sprinkler systems, and more. Canaan and Procone is the name of the trust in the Merrimack Valley. Call them at 978-685-0880 or go online to Canaan and Procone Plumbing and Heating.com. So we want to thank the sponsors, because without you, it would be very tough to do this and have these wonderful guests. So as I said, we finally got the JG gift cards. So we're pretty excited to hand these out to you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
So if you don't do a good job, I will be definitely taking these back from you. But I also have 2 more for our other guests, our seniors that are going to be graduating. They could definitely use the money going into college, so hopefully hopefully you guys will give these to them tomorrow night after you bring home another win for us.
Well, you've said it now, so they have to. 'Cause
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's out there.
So, Coach,
Yes.
how are you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm very happy.
Coach Smith talked a lot about you last time he was here on the
Yes,
show,
yes.
about all of your social media and just all the things you do. So tell us a little bit about how you do that. And
well, I love my phone, first of all. So I was new to Twitter last year, so I saw that, Ranger Nation had a Twitter, and every sports team around seemed to have one. So I was like, we should have one too. So we made one, and it was kind of like lame last year. But this year, I try to do something every day, and I think it's really nice for people to be able to see the girls' personalities, not just like, picking up, the scores and our schedule, but also seeing them kind of goof around at practice, because they're a lot of fun and they're really funny and they crack me up. So I figured I'd share that with the world. So I just like to kind of catch them in funny moments. And Coach Smith too, I kind of torture him with that, but he loves it. And I think it just adds another element to the team and another dimension. They're not just athletes that are amazing, but they're also like really nice kids and fun.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So what's your opinion of that? Do you ever get caught doing embarrassing things or anything like that?
Not so much us.
Not so much.
But our teammates, yeah.
Kerry Horn seems to get caught doing a lot of stuff.
She fell in the net. What else did she do?
Who did the video of her racing the football team?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Was that you guys?
Yeah.
She beat most of them, didn't she?
She did, yeah.
She's fast. She can fly.
Yeah, she likes to be on the camera though. I feel like she walked up to me before that and she's like, "I'm gonna race the football team right now." Like
just as a heads up, I'm going now. Yeah, get your camera ready, Coach.
Yeah, she's funny.
So we got to talk about last night. We showed up a little bit late. We're at the sports banquet. You all were at the sports banquet in full uniform, ready to go. Was that a little nerve-wracking that you had to go to the high school, do that, and then kind of change your routine a little bit before the game, or was that something you guys were okay with?
I was okay with it.
Jinx, you both owe me a Coke.
Yeah, I feel like it just pumped us up more because we had so much support from everyone at the banquet.
Yeah, it was kind of a cool thing having you guys all in uniform right there.
Afterward, they all came right to the game to support us.
Yeah, it was pretty packed.
Yeah.
So as I said, we got there and there was really no place to park. I showed up. It was 1-1. I'm really not sure the inning. Bottom. There you go, bottom of the third. I was on my phone. I'm sorry, I was listening to the city council meeting as well. So talk a little bit about how our pitcher did and kind of the beginning of the game. Somebody jump in and just because it seemed pretty tense the first few innings where it was tied.
Yeah, Kelsey did amazing yesterday.
Yeah, she did really good.
Like our first few innings were all 1-2-3, 1-2-3. Like right away, we were on and off the field really quick, and we were able to hit.
She seemed to have some movement on the ball.
Yeah, she has really good movement.
Coach, what's your assessment?
Yeah, Kelsey, she did an amazing job yesterday. We talked a lot the day before about just, Kelsey doesn't throw extremely fast, and she knows that. She doesn't, but she moves the ball very well, and she does a really good job of keeping batters off balance. So we just talked about, just moving the ball, just hit your spots, and you don't need to do anything else, and she really just killed it last night, and we're so proud of her. It was one of her, if not her best games this whole season, so she did an awesome job, and obviously the offense helped her out today.
No, absolutely. So take me through. It was 1-1.
Yep.
Give me a little, play how we got the second run.
All right, so we would have gotten a second run, and I have to make fun of Taylor because I don't know if you were there.
I was there for that.
Yeah, but Taylor fell, and Stephanie fell the game before, so we like to say that there's a sniper at Burnham Road. And now we'll go to Lowell, and there won't be a sniper there anymore. They'll lose us. But, we were 1-1 until the 5th inning. Yep. And then our friend here decided to get up and hit a complete bomb over the left fielder's head, giving us the lead, and we just held on to it. We had some really good hitting. We did leave some people stranded throughout the game, especially the first couple innings. Mm-hmm. We just couldn't seem to get anybody else, scoring. But then, our little freshman got up and decided to whack the ball, and then that was it.
So talk a little bit about it, because I was there, so haven't made any other game this year, so I kind of feel like a bandwagon person, but that's what you do in the playoffs.
That's okay.
So being honest, but in the stands when you hit it, the sound of that bat hitting the ball, I heard multiple people, including myself, was wow, because it sounded loud. So talk a little bit about the at bat and getting that sweet hit.
Well, yeah, I've found myself in situations like this a few times this year, and I feel like it's just made me become a better player and a better hitter, and just staying focused on what I need to do. And I was never expecting to hit a bomb like that, obviously. I just wanted to get a solid hit. And then it just ended up being a triple, and it was amazing. It was so much fun.
Very cool. So how loud was the crowd, Pam?
Crowd was loud. Crowd was loud. It was funny because when we got there, I was like, wow, that Peabody crowd over there, they're literally whooping it up over there. You know?
They were.
And I don't. If you know anything about me, that just gets me really like not happy with the other crowd, and I really want to beat. I want to beat them even more. And it was great. Like I said earlier, great just to have that big Ranger crowd yesterday, you know, helping support them, and that's what they need. It's great to hear.
It was amazing looking. I mean, when I was sitting at first, I was just like looking up and down the line. I mean, it was full down, you know, the foul line too. It was amazing. Just having all those people that really care about the team and really support the girls. It's a great feeling. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, and they give us a lot more energy too, I feel like, because we feed off of their energy, and it just makes us perform that much better.
And that's the thing that for Tim and I, you know, for the last couple of years, just the sense of pride. You know, I keep going back to the hockey team and how much they supported the basketball team, the girls hockey team, and it's just not them. It's you know, all of the male and female athletes. Anytime you can go to another game and support another team, and it's to me, that's probably one of my most favorite things, and was one of the reasons why I got all into Ranger Nation. Was just there's so much positive energy, even, you know, during some of these tough times right now that we're experiencing in Methuen. I want the positive to keep overshadowing.
Yep.
The defense last night. There was a lot of hits, a lot of balls in play,
Yep.
which is fun for the defense and the infield and the outfield.
Fun, yeah.
But it keeps you active.
Keeps
you
you
know,
on your toes.
Keeps you on your
Yeah.
toes.
Yeah.
But I did want to check in with you. There was a play last night that I think was a pretty pivotal play. The Peabody had a girl on second, one out. A pretty good hit was made. Top of the outfield, and then tell me what happened, because it looked like you made a call, but you're being very honest. You can take full credit right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm going to be honest about this one. So, so Coach Smith has like an eagle eye for these things. I mean, we won a game late in the state tournament in 2015 because of a call at third base. It was the end of the game. So I was, you know, it was a time where I felt like it was just time to go talk to the pitcher for a second and kind of slow things down. And I was like taking one step, and Jason was just like, "Stop!" I was like, "Okay." So I stopped in my tracks, and he went out and appeal. You know, if I went out there, it would have negated the ability to get the call. So he went out and challenged it, and the umpire luckily saw. Sometimes they don't. Nobody's perfect, but. He saw it, and it was definitely, we were talking about it today actually, it was a turning point in the game. It totally shifted the momentum even more in our direction and just kind of like led us in to finish.
I mean, one of the girls for Peabody was arguing with the umpire. It looked like she was going to throw her helmet down, but it was definitely, you know, the right call.
Yep.
The umpire was pretty animated when he called her out too, that I thought was
I think he was waiting.
I thought was a little bit over the top. Did you guys all see that?
Yeah.
I mean, he rung her up, and I'm like, wow, this is high school. Like, you don't have to, you know. But it was definitely a turning point. So, what did you guys think of that call? Did players in the field see that, or was this just Coach Smith, the two coaches?
I wasn't even paying attention to it. Smith always just like challenges it all the time, and like sometimes we get lucky with it, and that just happened to happen.
Very cool, very cool. But I agree, there definitely was a turning moment. Talk a little bit. One of my favorite shows was the girls' hockey team this year, and one of their posts was a picture of them in the weight room, and it said, "This is where the season begins." And then it was a picture on the bus going to the Garden, and it was, you know, this is really where the season ends. Talk a little bit about your team and you girls, about how, you know, you guys have come, you know, close together. The big thing was, you know, maybe not, you know, a lot of hitting this year with some of the losses, but you guys have really proven everybody that this is a team that's young and is going to be around for a while. Talk a little bit about building the morale and just the family together.
So at the beginning of every season, you know, we try to do some things that really makes the team bond, but we're lucky because a lot of the girls that are already on the team are very close to begin with. A lot of them play summer softball together on the same team or are in the same program or, you know, are friends before. So this year it was kind of like, you know, we lost a few people that really did contribute to our lineup and were really good hitters. So we were wondering what would happen. Even Jason and I were like, well, we'll see. And they just started the season off being, extremely aggressive, very enthusiastic. Not a huge team. I mean, we're kind of a little team if you look at other teams.
Yeah.
But just their energy and the way they back each other up is unbelievable. And it's really been a fun season. And it's kind of been like, the beginning of the season, they had lots of pasta dinners. How many pasta dinners did you have?
So many.
Like 3 a week.
Yeah.
They were, always hanging out with each other. And they're just the nicest kids, so it's natural that they would, all get along with each other. But it's been really easy in that arena for Jason and I, because sometimes you have to
Bond them
you
together.
have to, and you have to work at it. But these guys are they're so easy to get along with, and they get along with each other so well. And I think it really reflects in the games because they back each other up.
That's how she hit that ball so hard. All the pasta dinners.
Oh, that was
Right.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots
Yeah.
of pasta.
Lou, just another example though, and I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but I am a little bit, the whole user fee thing.
Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest complaints is a lot of these parents, a lot of these athletes are already giving a ton of money
Right.
and doing fundraising for all the little things that's allowing these girls to bond, get together and things like that. And that's the thing that the politician or the person that's not
Right.
really aware of the Ranger Nation and what these teams are doing, they're not aware of all that spending and all that money that goes on. Another thing I'm thinking about as we go on, a bunt was laid down last night. I think it was the 5th or 6th inning by one of the Methuen players that I thought was a pretty key bunt.
Kerry.
Was it Kerry Horn?
Yep.
You couldn't have done it any better.
It was a perfect bunt.
It really was.
And she's so fast too.
Yeah, that's right. It was
Yeah.
Kerry because she
Yeah,
did fly
she's-
down the
yeah.
first base line. As you're saying that, I'm okay. So just talk a little bit about just how much time you guys put in, and I'd like for you guys to talk about each of your involvement. You both play for. I don't know if you know this, but he's probably going to be mad at me because he should be watching this right now or tune in later. Coach Garibaldi. You play basketball for Coach Jera.
Yeah.
He was the assistant varsity basketball coach in a time in the 80s. I don't know if you know what that is. The late 80s when I actually played for Lawrence High School. Coach Jera was my assistant varsity coach, and he has not stopped yelling since that time.
Clarify that. You were a player.
I was a player when Coach Jera was a coach, and he would yell at me probably with the same amount of passion and desire. One of my turning points my sophomore year was in between sophomore. I was kind of wasting away. I wasn't getting a lot of time, and my attitude wasn't really positive. It just was, I was kind of down in the dumps, and he gave me probably one of the better get your head in the game and start working hard, your time will come speeches with a lot of color and a lot of
I was gonna ask if
adjectives
that
in
was the
there,
exact
and it
wording.
definitely was a turning point for me. But you guys both play 3 sports and both good academic stars. Talk a little bit about yourselves and what you do for Methuen High School. No.
3 sports is a lot of sports to play, and it's mostly about time management because it's really hard to manage school and the sports and everything that goes with it, but it's worth it in the end because it's really fun being a part of all the teams and being with so many different people, and sometimes you play sports with people for different seasons. Me and Steph play basketball and softball together, so it's fun.
But as you were talking, summer softball, but you're also doing summer basketball, or you are maybe. I know Coach Jarrett's all over that. I coached the 8th grade girls team, and he is texting and emailing them every day.
Yeah.
Come play, because to get to the state playoffs, you have to play year round. So talk a little bit about your freshman year and all that you're doing. And
Yeah, it's been very eye-opening for me. A lot of times when I'm younger, I have more time to do things, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just having fun. And then once high school hit and all the work started coming, and then also, like what Naya said, managing your time is very important. Because at the beginning of the year, just homework was a little overwhelming, and sports and everything, soccer. I played soccer in the fall, so that starting up was a little overwhelming for me, but I eventually got a grip and was able to manage my time and have fun doing it.
so soccer varsity freshman year,
Yeah.
and there was another freshman too, right? That was doing soccer.
There was Bella,
Bella.
and there was also 3 other freshmen that were on
soccer
the
team?
varsity team, yeah.
And then you and Bella both made varsity basketball. Pretty impressive. And then obviously, how many freshmen on the softball team?
Just one.
Just one?
Well, right now there are a few more
For the
since we started
playoffs.
the States, yeah. But Steph was the only one chosen. at the beginning of the
When do you
season.
guys get to have a social life? Do you get to have a social life?
Yeah, we do. Like when we find time for things, mostly on the weekends though, like when we have our days off, like from high school sports, like we have Saturdays off, so that's like when I usually hang out with my friends.
Yeah, and then also finding time between school and sports to just have a little time with your friends,
Yeah.
because
That's important too.
yeah.
That's important too.
Yeah.
Coach, anything you want to talk about the season or actually the upcoming game tomorrow night? So we're in Lowell.
Yeah, we're in Lowell.
Thursday night, 7:30
Yeah.
versus
Concord Carlisle.
Concord
Yeah,
Carlisle.
someone
And
we
they're
haven't
what?
really seen.
What are their rank? Are they? You're
They're
fourth.
one.
They're one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good game. So I would love it if everybody would come down and watch. Martin Field is a really fun field for people to come to. It's a big stadium and it's got a great energy. And the more people we have supporting us, the better. But we're really excited. Regardless of anything that's happened up to this point, we think that we can beat anybody. And we're ready to do it tomorrow night. So we've been doing our homework a little bit, and we've been preparing and
Studying our opponent a
talking
little
and
bit.
thinking and everything else. So the coach is a really good coach. She's very seasoned. I've actually known her since I was like 12. So it's going
wow.
to be, yeah, she's been coaching forever, and she's a great coach. She also has a great summer program along with the great high school program. So she's very knowledgeable. But,
So
I
it's going
think
to be a battle of two very good coach teams and some really strong athletes.
I think these guys are battle worn though, not in a bad way, but they've had
Battle tested.
Battle tested. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, they've definitely had some really tough games that they've come out on top. The last two games were tough games, so I think that they're ready. I'm really excited.
So just to recap, tomorrow night, what's the name of the field?
Martin Field.
Martin Field
Yeah.
in Lowell, 7:30. You heard it straight from the players' mouths. When there's a lot of fans and Ranger Nation shows up, they get the energy, and it takes them a little further, getting that extra run or that extra out. So Ranger Nation definitely has to show up and be supportive. I do want to come back to both of you as far as, Stephanie, one of the things you talked about. As a freshman, with the academics and playing 3 sports, you kind of said you kind of figured it out. I want to ask you a tough question. If you could, talk to other athletes, freshman, sophomore, junior year that haven't quite figured it out yet, what would be some advice you would give? Because for a young lady to kind of start to figure it out this early, while most kids have freshmen and JV, and you jumped right into kind of the competition of varsity, which is very impressive. What would some advice you would give?
I would just say to enjoy it, because it goes by really fast. This is just my first year playing, and I feel like I just started yesterday. It's just gone by really fast, so just take advantage of all your opportunities and have fun.
All right, Naya, kind of the same question for you, but obviously different perspective. You're going into your junior.
I'm a junior right now,
You're
yeah,
going into
so
your senior year. Yep. So what would be some advice you would give to other athletes?
I think you just need to get your priorities straight and figure out what you need to do and set up sometimes if I'm stressed out, I'll set up a schedule for myself of what I need to do during the day to get everything done, and you just need to not stress about it and just relax, and you'll be fine.
All right. Trisha Fleming, do you know her?
Yeah.
All right.
That's my aunt.
So Danny is my friend from Lawrence. We grew up
Really?
together and went to high school. So when I heard the last name and I was checking things out on Facebook, and I saw some things of her giving you some positive praise for things you do. It's such a small world.
Yeah, it is.
Which is pretty neat. So, Coach, anything else we want to talk about as far as the softball team or any other girls, any of the players that aren't here? Obviously, our 2 seniors that are leaving, we're definitely going to miss both of them. They were pretty impactful in the game last night as far as their presence. But do we want to mention any of the other players and kind of give them some of the credit? I know we talked about Kerry, her speed against the football team, as well as her.
Yeah, I mean, I could list everybody. This team
you know what?
is-
We're in the playoffs. We're in the semifinals. I think it's an appropriate time to kind of throw some of the names out there and give our friends some credit. I know you were here, but we want to represent everybody.
I think we need to give some props to Corey Rizzo at first base. I think that, sometimes, first basemen are kind of underrated and not underrated, but underappreciated. She saves everyone's butt. I mean, everyone. Naya knows, right?
Yep,
Sometimes
all the time.
you can't be perfect with your throws, but she gets to pretty much everything. She's just such a solid first baseman, and it's nice to be able to tell her every once in a while, you're doing a great job. Someone else that comes to mind, let's see, Claudia Crow, who is the DP for us. She does little fake bunt slash. She'll get a bunt down. She's quick on the bases. She's a little sneaky. Game against Lowell at Lowell, she basically got us our win by doing a delay steal home because the pitcher wasn't really paying attention. She dropped the ball, and she just went home. So she's kind of tricky. Yeah, so those two come to mind immediately. I mean, Emma came in clutch hitting, third baseman. She had a big hit for us last game. Actually, Naya had a great hit for us last game. She's already here. It's just, it's nice to have it's nice for me to just think of, I want to name everybody because everybody's such a good contributor to the team. But those three come to mind first, I guess.
All right, we're going to do a quick break and come back for the last part of Ranger Nation Radio, and we'll finish up with our guests, and we'll be right back.
Scared to rock the boat and make a mess, so I said quietly, agreed politely.
More show in a minute, but let's talk about Independent Tire and Auto. Mary and her crew will take care of all your automotive needs. She's been in the business for over 35 years, the past 18 running her own shop. And they're not just tires. They do wheel alignments, tune-ups, brakes, suspensions, shocks and struts, air conditioning maintenance, and so much more. 20 Old Clark Road in North Andover, just off of 495 next to the Lawrence Airport. They're there 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. Mary believes it's her privilege to serve you, to earn and keep your trust. Not too many mechanics you can say that about these days. Check out Independent Tire online at independenttirema.com or call 978-689-3900. That's Independent Tire and Auto, great supporters of Ranger Nation. Okay, next up, yes, Superior Cleaners and Tailors. We've all been there. You spilled coffee on the nice dress shirt, had to go back to work looking like an idiot. Well, you gotta get to Superior Cleaners and Tailors. They've been voted the best dry cleaners in the Merrimack Valley for the past 2 decades, and for good reason. Russ Vaquera, his son Justin, and the entire Superior crew take great care with your garments. Whether it's storage, dry cleaning, alterations, wedding gowns, comforters, quilts, or draperies, Superior will treat your garments with the best care. Visit them in Methuen at 234B Pleasant Street, where they're open 7 to 6 Monday to Friday and 8 to 4 Saturday. Also in Lawrence at 37 Essex Street. Or go to superior-cleaners.com for more details. I love talking about my man Val Davila. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now right-in-place insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and Mapfre, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? Davila and DeFusco prides itself in having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or visit them online at daviladefusco.com.
All right, welcome back to the final segment of Ranger Nation Radio. We have our fantastic guests here from the Methuen softball team, and we have some great people. Erin McGreevy-Sullivan, awesome job to the girls. Jay Anthony, go Rangers. Jay's got some advice to the city of Methuen, definitely asking for more bleachers. As someone at the standing last night at the game, definitely could use some more bleachers out there, especially with this team going to be hanging around the playoffs for years to come with all these great young athletes. And then Mary Joan, they have great energy, love it. But we also wanted to mention a couple other softball players that I kind of jumped to break before you were able to finish.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about Kayla Albee in center field. She's been doing amazing. We were just talking about how fast our outfield is, and she just tracks down those balls if she needs to. Courtney Belanger catching. She's been doing such a good job all season, just making sure, setting up correctly, throwing people out. She has a killer arm. And obviously our pitchers. I mean, they work so well together. They're like, you'd think that, people would be competitive against each other, and they are just so supportive of each other and have been since last year. So it's really nice to have a battery that, they get along so well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kayla plays volleyball as well, correct?
And basketball.
And basketball, another 3-sport athlete. Kayla was the libero.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever knew what a libero was.
Everyone asks that question.
We announced. I was announcing the game, one of my first games on the.
They get to dress differently, right?
Methuen
Are they like
Access
the unlimited
Television.
sub?
Yep, and there's a certain position they can't go in front of the net, correct? Which was pretty cool. So now we've learned what a libero is, and I'll always bring it up.
Games and I didn't know what that was.
No, absolutely. And you had a great season for volleyball as well. So which is pretty cool. So as far as the JG sponsor Stars of the Week, as I said, I'm struggling. I think that I'm looking through all the awards, and a lot of these folks have been on the show and all that, have been previous Stars of the Week. So I'm going to go with the easy, Lou, the easy choice. And my 2 Stars of the Week are sitting right next to me here for multiple reasons. One, obviously, a great hit. Played some phenomenal defense, and the fact that you both agreed to come on the show, as nervous as you were before the show, is pretty impressive. And for me, you guys are the final Ranger Nation team that's still battling, other than the tracked individuals that are out there like Saul that are still competing. But so you guys will be Stars of the Week. So we owe you a couple more of those cards. Tim didn't want to give me more of them because he trusted that I would give the 4 to you. Any extra ones, he thought maybe I might slip off the bandwagon and start eating too much ice cream. So we're going to keep you guys as the Star of the Week.
Thank you
Pam,
so
anything
much.
you want to talk about from the softball game as far as the crowd, or just get people motivated to get out there tomorrow night?
Well, I hope that the majority of the people that were there last night show up again tomorrow night. I know in the bleachers, because it is a little short on space, that the kids, as they were getting up, were calling fives for their seats, so that their seats were saved, and their seats were not saved, no matter whether they called fives or not. But it was fun to be around that whole group, and I hope that they show up for you guys tomorrow night too. It's what you guys need, I think, to keep you positive and
deserve.
hard. Yes, and deserve, absolutely.
All right, so my last couple questions, Nia, we'll go with you first. 3 sports, some are this, some are that. Anyone you want to give a shout out to that's kind of supported you and had your back, teachers, coaches, family, have an opportunity to thank some folks.
Yeah, obviously Smith and Bino, and my coach for volleyball, Coach Toomey, and Jera. They've all supported me so much, with everything I do, and they understand, when I have other commitments for, other sports and stuff. And, obviously my dad and my mom. My dad helps me so much with sports, and for softball, Brian McCoy. He is my summer coach for softball, and him and my dad just help me so much with the sport and trying to keep me focused and get better and stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Steph, same question to you as far as people that have been in your corner and you want to thank.
Definitely Smith and Bino for softball. They've helped me become so much better this year. I feel like I've definitely improved a lot because of them. Also, my parents, my mom and my dad. My dad is also my summer coach for softball, so a special thanks to him. And then also my soccer coach, Tim Gordon, and my basketball coach, Garibaldi. They've just been so helpful and have made me become so much more mature and a better all-around person and athlete throughout this whole year, and I can't wait to keep playing and be coached by them.
Very cool. Pam and I have a daughter, Julia, that's going to be going to the high school next year, and she did do 1 year of softball. She's a girls lacrosse player, and growing up with Connor playing, we didn't really give her that opportunity to try softball. And a year presented. We don't typically let our kids do 2 sports in the same season, but one of the teams was short a player, and so I said, you know what, let's have her do softball. We made the decision to have her play, and she had a good time, but you and your sister played in the same team. And I remember driving to the field and her talking about the 2 Tordignos and how good they were and how fast they pitched. And she get a hit or did she get a walk?
She got a hit.
She got a hit, and she still talks about it. 1 year in softball, and I'm not sure if it was off you or your sister, but basically the whole team, you guys are heck of a players, and they were very intimidated, and Julia just got up there and no idea, and just smacked the ball, and at the end of the year, she's like, wow, that girl threw really fast, and she ended up sticking with lacrosse, which is pretty cool, because I'm hoping she'll have a nice career at Methuen High, and she also does cheering, but I remember talking about you and your sister on the way to the game.
She likes basketball.
Basketball is, Coach Dara is going to be all over that. So just a reminder, I forgot the name of the field again for
Martin
tomorrow.
Field.
Martin Field in Lowell, 7:30. Come and support our friends here on the softball team, and they are playing Concord Carlisle, the #1 ranked team in the Eastern,
the North Division, North
so
Division
this is a huge game, and just like any playoff, it's you win or you go home. So this is a pretty big game. What's the furthest Methuen softball has gone?
We won a North title in 2015.
2015.
Yep.
So not too far ago, but we definitely want to put our own stamp on this season and go a little bit further.
Definitely.
JG's Ice Cream, do you go there?
Yes,
Yeah.
all the time.
So what are we going to use the gift cards for? Some ice cream or go-karts?
Definitely ice cream.
And what's our favorite ice cream at JG's?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy?
I get a confetti blast.
A confetti blast.
Yeah.
Miss Pam, what's your?
I like Cookie Monster, or my daughter had me try the peanut butter Oreo. Very good.
I'm a
Very
peanut
good.
butter fix guy. Lou, what do you do for our friends at JG's? Do you do ice cream?
Yeah. Anything.
Coach Bino?
That's okay, you can call me that from now on. It would actually be weird for them to call me Coach Rubino. Raspberry Oreo.
Raspberry Oreo.
That's my favorite.
I love raspberry Oreo.
So good.
All right, so to wrap up, we know Tim, I mentioned in the beginning, we definitely missed you. We're going to not hold it against him for not being here. We're not taking it personal, ladies.
I'm going to take it personal.
You're going to take it personal?
He's trying to hold the city together.
He is.
Yes, it's important business.
That is true. That is true. And he's got a show tomorrow at what time, Lou?
11.
11 o'clock. Yeah. And, he when him and I met, last year when he did the sports book, it was, him coming and checking in with myself and Pam about the boosters and making sure that the book he was doing to raise money wasn't going to take away from the boosters. Just a great guy, and I know his heart is so positive and into it. But we want to say we missed you, and
it's killing him to miss tonight.
What?
Yes.
The emails, he was killing him to miss the
Oh,
show
absolutely,
tonight. Yeah.
absolutely. He tracked us down and gave me the cards, and just wanted to make sure I was fine. So great show tonight, but we missed him, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you, ladies.
When you feel